Hello, North Dakota. This is Bruce Moe with Redneck Reckoning, and I got my lovely guest today as my wife, and she has a drink. It's like going, that shows so very little respect for this drink or for this podcast. But
Hey,
actually, like I say, and
your show, not mine.
that's right. All right. I can screw it up very well.
On your own.
Yes,
All
I
right.
can. But no, Redneck Reckoning, and obviously Kits with Pitbull politics, and we definitely think there's a lots of troubles. And here's the latest one. Is it trouble? I don't know, but it's really I think it is a typical situation where we get in and it makes a lot of people a lot of money, and a lots of people end up dead. And I sit there, and we've done it for lots of wars, lots of
I'd say a
conflicts.
lot of them, the majority of them, if not almost all of them, have been, I believe, economically induced.
It seems that way. And of course, we're talking about Ukraine. And why are we talking about Ukraine? Um, you've probably just seen the last incidents when Zelensky, of course, the president of Ukraine, was with Trump, and Trump, well, he kicked him out of
He
the.
bounced him.
Yep, he said no. And I tell you what, here's something I'm going to tell you some things that I've learned over the years, and it's been about 20 years in the making, actually. My thinking and thoughts about Ukraine and Russia, and lots of the people, because I mean, me and Kit, I wrestle, and I go to the World Championships, and of course, Ukraine and Russia both have very powerful wrestling teams,
Yes.
and they are lots of numbers come in there. And interesting things about the Ukrainian and the Russians. You will see about half the Ukrainian team is always drinking and talking with the
At
Russians.
least half.
Yep. I'm going to go almost 50-50.
Yeah.
And the other half is in the other side of the gym. And they are just, I mean, the the Eastern, and the people are from Eastern Ukraine, really always socialized with the Russians, and the people in Western Ukraine, I
Are
mean,
you
they
sure?
hate.
Oh, wait. And I got to ask, are you sure it's because it's Western Ukraine that's closest to Russia?
No, the globe goes around the other way, my dear. Where's the sun come up?
Oh,
It's
I'm
and I understand. I get screwed up on that one lots of
Okay,
times.
so the folks living next to the border really like the Russians. In
Yes,
fact, okay,
yes.
to
So
make
you,
this simple, they consider themselves Russian.
they really, I actually, I
They
tell you,
actually do.
they no, actually, I talked to it, and they like the Russians, but they still. I'm talking to a couple of the people. They still believe in the Ukraine. They do not. They do not like the politics
There, okay, okay.
of the Ukrainian, and the Eastern Ukrainians, as a rule, seem to, and I'm saying this as from what a number of people have talked to me, the Ukrainians have talked about, they do not like Zelensky, and they
No,
will, and
no.
they feel he is a traitor to
Part
it.
of the machine.
And I mean, and they do sit there and blame uh, us, not me and you, but the United States for getting Zelensky elected. And that was in 2019. And that was just before Trump took over the first time. Yeah. And just after, well, what's his name? Barack Baby was just leaving. Is when Zelensky got elected. And one of the Ukrainians told me that the CIA assisted in this. And that's one thing that there is, as you said before, you felt that this wasn't so much as a war, but it's Russia. I mean,
It was
Ukraine is almost a civil war.
yeah, it's convenient. It was very convenient for the powers that be obviously, as we can see, and we saw it all along, but it was more difficult to see at the beginning. That it's a money laundering operation. You start a conflict, you supply the conflict, and then you make as much money as you can off of it, and then you walk away and you leave everyone else to figure out what they're going to do with the destruction.
And the destruction is
And the
outrageous.
destruction is
I mean,
outrageous.
I mean, and okay. I mean, you probably, if you listen to me and Kit, we're not big fans of any of our leaders, our like Armstrong, Kramer, Hovind. We're not big fans of them because we think they're phonies. And I tell you what, I'm going to sit there and say all of them made a lots of money. And lots of the politicians made a lots of money on the Ukrainians because we look at, oh, what did it have? How many billions of dollars are we supposed to have gave them? 300?
It's astronomical because here's the other problem. Uh, they're not counting in a lot of the money, the materials
Yes.
and stuff that was sent. They're not counting in the money the fact that we literally were paying people salaries and stuff for the Ukrainian government.
It's
The amount of
outrageous.
money is in the billions and billions of dollars.
And they can't account for it
Most
all.
of it.
And lots of it didn't get to the Ukrainians neither.
No.
It's like wow. Did they get? And I still, like I said, I just remember watching Armstrong with his little Ukrainian left.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
it's like
Ukrainian lapel flags.
I was just like going, no, no. I mean, I know we shouldn't have been involved in this situation.
No, not
It was
day
it was
one.
it was basically like I say, Ukrainians having a conflict, and
But
I now I know you talked about it before, and I got to sit there and say the biolabs.
yes, I was
I
just going to
mean,
go there.
I got to sit there and say I'm not going to sit there and I don't know enough about the
We had the
biolabs.
CYA. There
Yeah.
were over 12 biolabs that had to be protected in Ukraine, and that was a lot of Putin's problem because remember this was after the COVID thing, and
I know.
Putin was not pleased. Now listen, understand one thing. I love the Russian people. I'm
Good people.
I am very wishy-washy about the Russian government. I am no fan of Putin. I am no fan of our government. I'm no fan of any government at this point. But the one thing that we have to understand is the people are completely separate from their government. And and they had no choice about those biolabs being in their country. But they're paying the ultimate price. And those were US backed labs.
And I mean, I don't have any evidence of it, but lots of it directly, it does. I am very suspicious. And if I, as a betting man, which I am,
It's been
I,
admitted.
I know that there's been some labs over there and it's ugly stuff. And as far as, it's kind of interesting. Now, you don't do it.
Which
But
one
I
do?
don't. I do a lot. You will not listen to MSNBC and
No, no,
CNN and that stuff.
I can
I
only.
have to. I have to. Yes, you
There's
have to.
not enough.
Well, no. But I mean,
There's not enough.
that's one thing I want to
cannot
talk
listen
about
to
too is
that.
how funny these things are and how obviously just like going they have no frame of reference between the two between like Fox News and CNN. It's hilarious. Here's one thing.
You think there are two separate places and they're reporting on the same story.
Yeah. Now MSNBC goes. You're just talking about Putin. 80% of the people in America don't trust Putin. And it's like NBC says, well, that should show that we should definitely not support, we should always support Ukraine. I tell you what, are you kidding me? Only 80% of the people do not trust Putin. What the hell are the other 20% thinking? I mean, it's like, it's obviously, you do not trust Putin. It's like, I mean, I sit there and think,
Oh, so
Zelensky is even worse. I mean, that's what I get. That's my point. It's like and hell, I've got politicians in North Dakota that are
don't trust.
Yeah, well, okay, how many do we?
There's a couple.
Less than 80%.
Yes,
Isn't that-
considerably.
It is. And like I say, MSNBC. talking and listening to him is really actually fun. And if you and I know lots of you conservatives who will refuse to do it, but I tell you what, you learn a lot. And you have if you can stomach it, and Kitty has a trouble. It's listening to it is kind of interesting. Of course, I learned stuff from them that obviously Trump is well a
The
dictator.
Antichrist.
Yes, and I mean they sit there and say Trump is has a stranglehold on Congress and all
Right.
this stuff. You know, it's all this stuff that can't be trusted, according to Mark Warner. And
Oh, because Biden was so trustworthy.
yes, and
Salt of the earth, that guy.
I know it's just like going CNN is they just I mean there there's obviously Trump is a bully and he's as one of the CNN persons or not MSNBC persons said is he's kind of like a mafia Don, and it's kind of like that's I love
Okay,
it. Don the Donald. You know, it's
mention
like
something.
it's
So
hilarious.
Pelosi and Schumer have never been known to bully
Oh no,
anybody.
nope. That's the what.
I'm just saying, and this isn't about the R or the D, because if you're a politician, you're speaking, you're an ass. I mean, seriously, God, I've reached that point in my life, especially at the national level. But see, this is the problem, Brucey. They allow this stuff to distract everyone.
Oh yes.
We have to be with our team, and so now we have our two teams, and we don't understand that there is no teams.
No,
It's
well,
us against them.
and
Those are the
exactly,
teams.
exactly. And the thing is, let's admit it. Now, I mean, Trump isn't a buddy of mine. I would not be a friend of his, but I think he's trying a lot harder than than what's it, Biden.
Oh, bro.
You know, to do the
Get him an
right
ice cream
to
cone.
do the right thing. Oh, he likes pudding better, but
I'm talking about Biden.
yes, yes,
Whatever.
okay, but it's all interesting things what's happening over there, and I gotta say one thing that surprised the hell out of me when I was listening to this. Lindsey Graham was very much in front in saying how much Zelensky screwed up and stuff. It's like going, I did you ever believe Lindsey Graham? Because he could lose lots of money by saying this stuff.
He's already got lots of money. The
It-
tides of the political world have
Eh,
changed.
eh.
The rats are running to the other side of the ship.
Yes, they are. I get-
Don't
I like that. Can I-
don't. Yes, you may use that. Don't
Okay.
even begin to think that someone has changed their political stripes, because the political stripes that these people wear are all for themselves.
Money. It is.
And yes,
Yes.
it's money, it's power, it's lobbyists, it's everything else. And Lindsey Graham realized that the bulk of the American people watching the theater that was Zelensky in the White House were going to be outraged. So he picked the appropriate side. Period. End of sentence. I'm sorry if you think I'm going to pat Lindsey Graham on the back.
No, God, no. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing at this. How, like you say, the rats leaving the ship and
Yes.
stuff like that. Because just 2 weeks before that, he was talking about how wonderful.
We can't
Zelensky
give up
was.
on them.
Yes, and like you say, and here's, I mean, like Mark Warner. Yeah, he's the head of the Democrats on the intelligence agency. He just talked so bad about the intelligence agency. But yes, I know. I mean, how bad Trump was, and I mean, this guy is somebody that's well, you know, I mean, it's got to ask a serious question. We need an agreement, is what he says. And I gotta
We
sit
gotta
there
get out of this
and
thing.
I gotta say one thing. Why now? Are we so damn worried about getting an agreement? Especially for a Democrat that was not pushing these agreements until now? It's like going, why didn't you give a damn about it when old Joe was in the office?
The political climate.
I gotta agree. I mean, but it's well. And of
And
course,
they follow the trend and they coast along on their little political high horses and they go, oh, well, I believe this a lot. And with the attention span of everyone these days of a goldfish, oh, well, he always used to back that. No, he didn't. But
no, we didn't. And I mean, and of course, he's still talking about how well they're doing. And that's one
yeah,
thing that's really pisses me off about this is because everybody, like Kramer and Hovind, this whole bunch is saying how well they're doing, the Ukrainians are doing.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of such a bunch of bullshit? Like Warner says, he goes, "Oh, the Ukrainians lost 400,000 people, soldiers, but the Russians lost 700,000." I mean, it's like going, where the hell do you get these numbers? You know you're full of shit because obviously Ukraine is getting pounded. So it's like going, it's ugly. It's ugly.
It's like the COVID numbers. You died in a motorcycle crash, but you died from COVID.
Mm. Mm. Hey, and do you have anything else you want to talk about on this issue, or should we move on
Move
to
on.
some things
We're
that,
running. We're at 15 minutes, and you know
oh, you
that
do.
people's eyes roll back in their heads. So what else you
Hey,
got?
if you get bored, turn us off. Don't have to. I tell you what, that's the way I look at it. But we have something that I really got to sit there and we're going to bring up right now is Doge of North Dakota. Oh my God! And I got to go. First thing I say, are you joking me?
They're not.
I know it's what's so dang wrong. Are you crazy? You want us to sit there and say, "Oh, everything's going to be okay because we're going to put a bunch of politicians in care of our money?" It's like going, how many times can they screw us over? No, no, no. I tell you what, I'm going to sit there and say it's not a bad idea to have Doge in North Dakota, but you could have a couple legislatures.
No, it's
You
got to be
know,
totally on the outside.
I would
Totally on the
no.
outside.
Well, that's why.
Totally and completely people
Well,
from the outside.
that's the difference between redneck reckoning and pitbull politics. Pitbull politics, she's not going to change your mind. I'm going to sit there and say, I'm going to try, but I do sit there and think I could live with a couple people.
Okay. Okay.
But no,
Wait,
no,
wait,
I'm
just a
talking,
minute.
I'm talking,
I know.
no, no,
I know.
okay, let's just
Let
sit
me
there.
just point something
Okay,
out.
I want to know the numbers now. What
Let
do
me
you
point
think?
out.
How many people should be on the commission? I'm saying 7 or less.
Definitely less. And
5.
here's the thing I want to point out to you.
Okay.
How effective has the Ethics Commission been? 81 complaints. We couldn't find a thing.
But that's
What the
why.
hell do you think's going to happen with Doge?
But that's why I'm saying you could sit there and if they want a politician, you definitely don't have. Okay, let's just say
Who's in
7.
charge of the Ethics Commission?
No, no,
All
no,
the
no, Kitty,
legislators.
Kitty, Kitty. Listen, you sit there and if we have, let's say 7, I want at least 4 people from the outside. But now they want all 7 of them to be politicians, legislatures. I'm saying bullshit on that.
Okay.
I'm saying at least more than half of them
Bruce,
have to be.
here's the problem.
Okay.
Outside. So does outside mean my brother, my sister, my cousin, my nephew?
No, that means
Okay,
well.
you
I'm
don't
going to start
understand.
off.
This is North Dakota politics. Everybody is either best friends, a relative, a cousin,
Hmm. Well,
married to
that's
somebody. Everybody in this freaking thing is
okay.
related.
Let's just get this
It's
straightened up right now. All right.
it
I'll
would have to
let
literally be from the
I'll let
outside.
I know. I'll let the legislature. We're going to go with 7 right now. Just having a number. They can pick out 3. Man, me and you take out the other 4. I'm serious. Why not? Why not? You try to tell me that would be you. Be honest. What?
Being honest, everybody that would be ever assigned to this commission,
Yo,
whatever
yo.
is bought and paid for. Period.
I was just like the ethics committee. I mean,
Yes,
seriously.
paid for.
Yes, yes, and they get paid well, and that's one thing I gotta sit there and say that's at least no, no, no. More than half the people have to be from outside, and they are not selected by like the governor or the
But my
AG or
point.
nothing.
My point.
Nope, they have to be sit there. And I tell you what, how would you get people? to the on the Doge committee that are, because I mean, let's be honest, having having not Eli, what's it?
Elon.
Elon is not necessarily, you know, good for everybody.
You can't bring them in from the universities because the universities have the same problem. So you can't bring in some
No,
computer geeks
nobody,
from
no,
UND
nobody.
and
Oh,
DSU
and they
because
can't be
that
state
will be the
people.
next that will be the next.
They
Well, we'll
can't
just bring
be.
them
They
in.
can't work for the state. No, they cannot be working for the state originally. They have to be in the public. And I tell you, and that would be an interesting one. But I'm sitting there saying that's all I'm going to say about the Doge of North Dakota. It's just cannot be
It's functionally
all
not
political.
happening.
Yes, it cannot work with just politicians. It has to work with people and from outside. And like I say, me and
And
Kit, do you
term
volunteer?
limits.
Term limits is obvious.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, it's sort of like Diogenes looking for an honest man.
Yeah.
You're never going to find one. I mean, he spent his entire life looking for an honest man, and it's just insane. But the deal is that we need something, but
Yes.
this isn't it.
No, this is not it. When you're talking politicians, why don't we just get a couple from Fargo and Emily O'Brien, and we're going to be honest, and we're going to sit there and do the right thing, right? Holy crap, you guys, and sit there and maybe have Armstrong select them. Holy crap, are we going to nowhere? I mean, that's one thing that this Doge of North Dakota is a bunch of crap. Yeah. Hey, another thing that you just mentioned to me and I wasn't aware of, and I'm glad you did mention it because it really does piss me off. The new Second Amendment they're going to try to get through here
It's a Second
involves.
Amendment regulation,
Yes.
yes, and
Oh, God.
it
Tell
is
me about that one.
it is going to be bad. It is going to involve where the individual, um, there's going to be gun-free zones, and it's going to be able to be set up by the political subdivisions.
So
And
anyway,
it's thought like any public building or any public land. That means parks in Grand Forks. It could be so vast as the Greenway.
yes. Any place they want, huh?
Yeah, any place that
The
they
subdivision.
decide is public, the subdivision can say is a gun-free zone, which to me is, why don't we call it what it is? It's a soft target zone. Because it means that I know there's going to be no guns there, and that means I know because I'm a bad guy. So I already don't pay any attention to the law. So the law saying I can't bring a gun in is going to be pretty easy for me to circumvent because I'm just going to say, blow it out your ear, and walk in with my gun and go, nobody else here is going to have anything to defend themselves with, and take people out. And everybody that would be righteous, that it would be a concealed carrier, would have left their gun behind because they would be following the law.
Yes.
In the
That never happened before.
No, never. In the meantime, though, here's the problem. And that is, you're going to be, because North Dakota is a constitutional carry, technically, you can take your gun in anywhere. And so you could be walking down the Greenway and not even, and be from out of Grand Forks and not even know that you're breaking the law because you have a concealed carry.
It's ugly.
It's going to be like playing hopscotch with your gun because does this municipality, this political
So
subdivision
what
alone?
do? Nobody carries their guns to be on the safe side.
Oh
So you're
my
on the,
goodness.
Isn't that going to work out? That's the way we want to have our politicians. That's North Dakota for you guys.
That's gun-friendly North Dakota,
Yes,
guys.
it's like, have you ever heard a bunch of crap? Don't let stuff like this happen. Get involved. And that's one thing I always hound about. I get ticked off when North Dakotans aren't involved in politics. All they do is sit there and they vote, but that doesn't do shit if you know who you're voting for. Okay, so, and I do say it all the time, and I will continue until we get everybody getting involved. No.
I want to, though.
Okay.
Statistics, when they always come out with all of these statistics about the shooters and stuff.
Uh,
But But the one set of statistics that is always seems to be suppressed and stuff is the amount of lives that were saved because somebody in a shooting situation had a concealed carry.
That's
Why don't, and those are quite vast, actually.
that's irrelevant.
It is
I mean,
not relevant.
well,
It's very
that's what they
relevant.
tell us. I mean, don't you sit there and don't you listen to you? If you don't, you obviously don't listen to MSNBC because
And you're right.
otherwise you would realize that there are insignificant numbers there. Crazy. It is a crazy world. Is there anything else before we close up for this episode of Redneck Reckoning? We'll talk again pretty soon. And if, hey, by the way, if you ever have any questions or want to be on the show or dispute me, I'd love it. Give me a call. Anything else, Kathy Sue?
Let me see just a second
Oh,
here.
we might have some wisdom.
This is from 2022. You can't imagine why there's no more recent statistics.
Hmm.
But this one says, applying that fraction to the entire U.S. adult population, research estimate that guns were used defensively 1.5 million times a year.
Oh, good.
And by having soft target zones, you're denying the rights of people to protect themselves and their family.
Second Amendment.
And that is just not
like I say,
correct.
Second and First Amendment, you fight your ass off for those guys.
And they on purpose don't collect those statistics.
All right, North Dakota and Minnesota and wherever the hell else you want
Wherever
to say.
rednecks rule.
Ooh, not enough places. Thank you, Kitty, for joining me today.
Anytime, sweetheart.
Later,
You guys
guys.
take care.